simply unbelievable. How proud can one man be?
You are, without a doubt, the cockiest human I've ever met!
That's simple. Because he's the most powerful man in the 7 deadly sins.
I'm also the one who stands at the pinnacle of all races.
Before I kill you, I have to know. What was your name again?
And my name is...
What is good, beautiful people? I'm your host, KingLionOFLocs, and we're going to bring back something on the channel, the KingLionOFLocs reviews. So as you guys know, I'm a big movie buff. I like to go to movies and enjoy it, and I like to come back and I review the movies with you guys. I've gotten a long list of movies because I haven't done this in a while, and while I haven't done it on the channel, like I said, I've been just writing down my notes, or like my stuff I would say to you guys. So we have movies like Sonic 2, Doctor Strange, Thor 4, Dragon Ball Z Superhero, Halloween Ends, Black Adam, Black Panther 2, One Piece, The Menu, Violet Knight, Demon Slayer, John Wick 4. I'm going to save, now that I'm looking at the list, I'm going to save the anime ones for next month, for anime month. This for right now is just to give you guys, just to, one, to shorten my list, and two, to give you guys something that are probably a little bit easier for me to do, as opposed to play with some of my other games and kind of give it half my focus while I'm working on anime month. So without further ado, let's just pick one off the top, and I'm just gonna scroll, and this one. So we will be doing John Wick 4 for this one. John Wick 4 just recently came out about a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and funny story about that before we get into it. So I like to go and buy the dubious cinema. I don't even know that's how you pronounce it. The dubious cinema for when I go see my movie. So like when the color is brighter and the sound is better. That's the little ad that they sell right before the movie, right? I go and spend this money to go see this movie right when it first comes out, and I am exhausted the week of this movie. I'm exhausted, dead tired. I go see this movie the first time, and I make it up until a good 15 minutes into the movie, knocked out, sleep. I wake up in the middle of what I'm assuming is the end of the movie, confused, thinking that this was like, I didn't even know I passed out. I'm thinking like I blinked and one scene's happened, I blinked again, John Wick is like shooting someone, and he's bleeding out. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. But yeah, I had to go watch the movie a second fucking time, and it just was upsetting. But without further ado, let's get into John Wick 4. I'm gonna probably do John Wick 1, 2, and 3 because I have 1 and 2. I had the third one, but you know, that's a story for another day. Probably when I do John Wick 3. But for John Wick 4, for those that don't know, John Wick is a story about Keanu Reeves' character. He is a assassin. I forget the terminology for him, but he's like the Boogeyman. The guy that you send to kill the Boogeyman is the John Wick character. What starts it off? The man's dog dies. He goes kill some people. They try and kill him back. He still kills them. He kills some people he ain't supposed to kill, and now we're at John Wick 4. So to kick it off, John Wick is practicing because in the last movie he got betrayed by someone that he called a friend, and at this moment Lawrence Fishburne, yes, Morpheus, is coming in giving his little praise about how, you know, he is the king. That is his character. He's the king of this land. Everyone is like an underground mob boss, and Lawrence Fishburne's character is just like the king of the sewer rat men. Every homeless person you see out on the street is working for him. You know how the stigma is that like a homeless person is actually not really homeless, that they're just taking the money and building off of it. It's kind of like that. They're all a bunch of criminals that are not criminals. They're a bunch of hired gunsmen that portray homeless people because no one bats them an eye. They're homeless. John Wick is back. He didn't die in the last movie, which again, you're not surprised John Wick didn't die. But the people that thought that he died were soon to realize that they done fucked up, because now he's going on a killing spree, killing them. So he goes to kill these. I called him the head nigga, but he goes and kills the leader of this group, or at least one of the one of the chairmen of the table, which is this organization. Yeah, so he's on this black stallion horse, killing these other men, leading them to the one of the members of the table. He kills them. He kills the member of the table because they would not give him back his ring or his finger. This nigga had to cut his finger off that had his wedding ring on it and give it to them on some Yakuza shit. To be free from the consequences of the third movie. We're gonna have to go over the third movie. We're gonna have to go over all of them, but we're gonna go over all of them later. Anyway, he kills that nigga, right? And then we cut to the concierge and his bellhop or bell tender. I'm gonna put the actual names down of these people because I'm gonna be honest with you, I completely forgot. Wilson was his name. Okay. There we go. I can work with this now. And I have the list, so I can definitely work with this. Okay, so after John has killed the man, one of the members of the table, we cut over to Wilson and Char. I again could be messing up his name. I do apologize for that. He just recently died. Lance, the guy that plays Lance, the character he played as, R.I.P. him. But they have been called up by the table, the high table, by a Marcus, played by Bill. Not gonna ruin his last name either. The point is, they call him up and they say that because Wilson did not kill John off when he was supposed to, because he keeps killing people now, it's Wilson's fault for not killing him off. And so what they decide to do is they decide to blow up the hotel that they run. And the fucked up part about them blowing up that hotel is that the whole premise of the third movie was to protect the hotel. That was one of the side arcs of the whole third movie, was them protecting the hotel and Wilson trying to get that hotel back. All that effort they went into, all the backstabbing Wilson went into just to get that bitch back, just for them to blow it up in the next movie, was ignorant as hell. I completely did not understand the point of them keeping this hotel just for them to destroy it the next movie. It was a waste of an explosion. I think it was a waste of a use of an explosion. But I digress. And then Marcus kills off Lance's character as a punishment for Wilson, telling them that, hey, this could have been you. You could have been the one that died. And I thought it was really fucked up because he died before this movie came out, and for his character to also die in the movie, again, RIP them, but I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Now at this moment, this is the moment where when I first watched it, I blacked out on it. I blacked out the first time of it, and then I remember waking up around the time that we meet Scorpion's character. Again, I feel bad that I don't know his name, but I just know he plays as the Scorpion and the new Scorpion movie, Scorpion Mortal Kombat movie. There we go. Anyway, and so happens that he runs his own hotel. It is the Continental in Sakura's Continental. He runs it with his daughter, and she's the bellhop, or the terminology for someone that runs the front desk. I again don't know the name of it. Far be it from me. Anyway, John goes to him because John has few people that he calls friends, very few that he trusts. And friendship is only convenient when it isn't convenient. Case in point, John needed somewhere to stay, even though that he's a wanted man and still excommunicado. Scorpion still took him in. It's kind of nice of him. He has a code of honor with his friends. Speaking of friends, he has another friend, and there is the IP man, or not One Punch Man, but Kane. He is one of John's friends. He's a blind assassin that only wants to be around his daughter, but he can't because the table is always watching. And if he gets too close, then the table will kill him too. And so they told him that, hey, we have one last job for you. If you complete this job, we'll let you see your family, or we'll let you free basically, and you can be with your daughter. And he has to kill John Wick. It was hype. I didn't know these. I've never seen the IP movies, and even for the dude that plays Scorpion, I've only seen him in a handful of movies, but I do know that movies that they're a part of are hype. So I was excited to see the fight scenes that they were gonna have with John, and I wasn't disappointed in seeing their fights. The table finds out that John is at the Osaku's Continental, and they code to capture him. And as they're going down there, shooting up the place, killing everyone there, everyone that's not a main character dies in that movie. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know what bullshit armor that they have on their suits, but no bullets will kill anywhere. Like from here, you got to either shoot me from here, or maybe my hands to actually do any damage, because these motherfuckers will, like, imagine this is like the jacket, the suit jacket part. All I gotta do is do this and I'm bulletproof. Like that's bullshit. So bullets are bouncing off everyone that's not a main character. So John Wick is damn near bulletproof. His, Scorpion's daughter, damn near bulletproof. He is kind of bulletproof when he chooses to be for plot. The IP man, bulletproof. The nigga is blind. He going around, he's shooting people. So like, okay, so I take that back. This is around the time I'm starting to waking back up into it, because I remember this fight. So on the second watch of it, I noticed that this nigga, not only he has like alarms that can sensors that will alert him if they will make a sound if someone comes by. So he'll put one up here, and then he'll move it down here, move his little cane shit, and he'll wait for them to move around, and then once they make a sound, he goes and shoots, and he knows where they're at, which is crazy. This really fucking crazy is this man was able to shoot them from afar away. And then, like, I thought he was gonna be a good guy, because right when he was about to headshot execution style one of the guys, he didn't, and he like knocks him out. And so looking back at it the second time, I realized that none of the people that he shot were death, like they weren't like fatal injuries. They were all like either he wounded them or knocked them out. So like, okay, maybe he's cool. Maybe he's not trying to kill people. It looks like he's just really just trying to kill John, and then that'd be the end of, he could be a free man. His soul can be free. Sadly, that was not the case. But before we get into that, I do also want to mention that there was a nameless character, the tracker, or personally, I doubt that this man will ever see this video, so like I ain't never gotta have any smoke. But the motherfucker that looked like Gideon, he was in this movie. He was just in this movie as a tracker. He would somehow always figure out where John was, which again, he's a tracker. I guess that kind of made sense, but like we never figured out his name. We never knew anything more about him. Is that he could find that he was looking for John. He would why my frame is dropping? Hold on a second. He was a tracker, and the motherfucker looked like Gideon, but he was just always there just to find John and help him get his bounty up to a good enough amount. And at this moment, John's bounty was at least 2 mil. Yeah, his bounty was at least 2 mil when he was fucking around in the Osaka Continental. So he was like, nah, I need your bounty to be up higher before I come looking for you, type shit. And so they're still fighting, bullets bouncing off everyone. John is killing people with nunchucks, guns, what the fuck else? That was pretty much it. He was really piecing motherfuckers up with the nunchucks. Like at first it was like a little slow, methodical, but like as it was getting on, he was like actually going in, strangling motherfuckers out with it. It was actually kind of interesting. As I mentioned, everyone that's the main character, their suits protect them kind of sort of from bullets. Scorpion's daughter, she gets shot up. I think her name is Rini or Simi. She gets shot in the side, and so John has to go save her. As John is going to save her, her father comes up and takes her, and they try to escape. As they're trying to escape, they run into Kane, and Kane is there. He's already slaughtered the rest of Scorpion's men, and he was like, hey, don't make me do this. I don't want to have to kill you too. This is at the point where I realized that, okay, he's reached his limit. He's just trying to do this job as quickly as he can, and so now he has to, you know, kill people to get the job done quicker. So I think, yeah, so their fight was really good. I don't like how it felt like Scorpion's character was already wounded. So it felt like he was not at his 100%. And most of the movies that I've seen him in recently, he's been nerfed. Like the Train to Busan. No, Bullet Train. He had a fucked up leg and he could not fight at 100%. And now in this movie he was cut from a stray bullet somehow getting him, and now when he was fighting Kane was able to beat him and then kill him. Once Kane killed him, he looked at Scorpion's daughter, was like, hey, I'll be waiting for you when you're ready to come kill me, type shit. She runs off. So after Scorpion dies, John goes through a lot, some more men. The tracker that nobody knows his fucking name helps him out some more, so he gets his bounty up, so that way they can't capture him. I realized that Keanu Reeves, he perfected only one technique from his Krav Maga training, and it's the lay on the back. Like every chance he could get, he was on his back laying out a motherfucker. Like you would think that this nigga in the puppy like scratch my belly position would not look as dangerous, but this nigga will go down as soon as, like, there'd be a crowd of motherfuckers, he would go on his back, and the first motherfucker that would come at him, he would latch onto them, and then they're dead. It's instantly. And I like every time I saw that, I was like, just don't let him get on his back. He gets on his back, you're done. And he's on his back, I'm like, okay, just don't touch him. He can't move, but if you get closer to him, you're dead. And these motherfuckers will walk closer to him and thinking like, oh, he's on his back, and they would die. And I was like, told you, didn't even listen. It's at this point now, John has realized that Scorpion is dead. One of his last friends are dead. Kane is now after him. He has to figure out how can he get to these people quicker, because these people are now taking out people that he cares about, and you can only kill so many people. You can only have so many bullets before you run out of bullets, even for John. And this is where Wilson comes into the picture. He talks us to Lawrence Fishburne's character, King. We'll call him King. So Wilson talks to King, that's his name, and he asks King that, hey, can you pass a message on to John? Let him know that, hey, I need to talk to him. John meets him at a funeral. He meets him at the funeral home where his bellhop or bell tendon is at. And John is like, hey, why did you call me here? And Wilson basically told him, he was like, my bad, I fucked up, but what is your plan? Because you can't just keep killing these people, because they will replace them faster than you can put them in the morgue. And that was true. John killed the time between these movies aren't that long. John killed the big boss in the second movie, and right in that second movie, the next day is the third movie, they had already someone to replace him. So Wilson is telling him that, hey, if you kill this guy, the Grand Marquillard, or whatever the fuck his name is, they will have someone else ready to replace him, and they will still hunt you. And so John is like, okay, so how do I get this? How do I get free and make it so that I don't have to deal with this shit anymore? And Wilson was like, basically, you can do one of two things. You can either die, or we can take this to some Agni Kai type shit. Agni Kai, sorry, that's something else came up. Agni Kai shit. And they were like, okay, John was like, okay, what do you mean by that? And he was like, okay, so what you need to do is you need to go home, get your family to love you and to sponsor you to be head of the table on some Roman Reigns shit, and tell them that you're gonna challenge this guy in combat. And John was like, this will work. He said, this is ancient rules. They have to agree to this shit. So John goes back home to France, to the people that in the third movie he had ripped his ticket to say he does not belong to them, so that way they could do him one favor. Again, I did not like the consequences being Uno reversed. Like, you did all this shit to protect the Continental, they destroy it in the next movie. John goes through hell and back to get to be disowned by these people, just to come back to be re-owned by these people. So while he's home, his family does not fuck with him. They, like I mentioned, he ripped up his ticket. He no longer is one of them. On top of the fact is he is excommunicado, and John is like, hey, John is like, hey, I can get us out of this shit if you, one, bring me, like, get me a ticket again, and two, let me fight this other motherfucker. Let me fight him. And they're like, no, we don't believe you, because we even trusted you. Our head motherfucker died. And John was like, okay, what if I get revenge for you guys? And they was like, fine, you can do that. They take him to go fight this fat motherfucker that looked like the reject penguin. And I say all this shit because this motherfucker was giving John more work than any motherfucker besides the old nigga in the first movie. He was giving John the most work out of anyone in this movie, and I felt upset because he was heavy breathing at this poker table. They had to go to this poker area. This motherfucker looked like the penguin. He all big and swole. He what are you gonna do, John? You know, you ran into a trap because we found the tracker, this motherfucker, and then we have Kane over here. Hold on a second. But how about this? We play a game of cards, right? We'll play a game of cards. And he cheats in the game of cards, and everyone knows he cheats. Even the blind motherfucker that can't see knows he cheats. They fight. John throws the cards at him, cuts him in the artery, and then they go kill off everyone else in this area, in the club. As John is fighting this man up the stairs and down the stairs, because this motherfucker will get away and then run back away up the stairs, and then will get away again and then run down the stairs. This motherfucker kicked John off a tower, all Tekken 8, Tekken 7 style, and had him fall on the ground, and John was like all disoriented. But then when some flunkies comes by, John goes on his back and kills these people. Now when the big boss fat ass comes down, he's struggling. Up until the point where he's no longer struggling, he knocks this motherfucker off another flight tier of stairs, or off the, what's the roof? I guess the roof part, the roof that's not a roof. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a floor, but then it's the roof up under it. He knocks him off that shit, and the motherfucker hits his head, all cartoonish, and just bleeds out. Internal damage. But that's not good enough for John. John goes over to this motherfucker, hits him with a 2-piece in his gold teeth, and rip that bitch out and takes it back to the people. The third movie didn't mean shit. Basically, John goes back to these people, they give him his ticket, he's one of the family again. The third movie really didn't mean shit. I honestly do believe that you could watch, if you just turn off you turn off the logic part of your brain and just realize that there are explosions and this shit looks fire and just like, ooh, niggas are dying left and right. It is a wonderful movie. It really is. And I'm not even dogging John Wick for it, because I enjoyed the movie. Even though I had to pay for it twice, I enjoyed it. But it's the second watch through that I'll start to like poke apart things. Like, so the third movie didn't matter. The you know, like, cause niggas just don't even care. You rip your ticket up, you come back, you perform a hit, then you come back into the family, and they don't even care. Like, water under the bridge. He is now able to challenge the Grand Marquis. I think that's actually his name. I think it is Grand Marquis. And they challenge each other in this interesting game of matches. Not even it's highest card takes. This interesting game of highest card takes. So like, they say, what is the challenge? And it's, one dude said, the Grand Marquis said knives, and John was like pistols, and then they flip their cards, and whoever had the highest card was the winner of that challenge, or that rule or requirement, which seemed interesting until I realized it was basically highest card takes, or the matching. How they did it was like the matching card that you would do with your friends, and I was like, okay, kind of took out a little bit of the fire of it, but you know, I still let it rock because there was a pageantry of that shit, and I was for it. I was all for it. So they basically did pistols at dawn, but the monkey wrench in it was that the Grand Marquis said that Kane will be the gunsman and not him. So for John to be free, he has to now kill his friend, we'll still call him his friend, for him to get his freedom, or Kane will have to kill John to get his freedom. At this point, John Wick's bounty is at 26 million, and they made out a seek and destroy for this motherfucker. It's all Call of Duty style. So it's like seek and destroy. They're coming looking for you. They're coming for you. Tracker still ain't trying to fuck with him. 26 million, not enough money apparently. It's not enough money. He still needs more. So the Grand Marquis sent out the code for the seek and destroy all throughout Paris, letting people know that, hey, John Wick's bounty is high now. You got all reign to go out through Paris. If you see this motherfucker, kill him. He went through the whole streets of Paris, and not one person called the police. I don't know the crime rate in Paris, I really don't, but I'm willing to bet that if you see a motherfucker driving around shooting, or you see a motherfucker out in the street shooting, or people dying and like people getting ran over, at least I would think you gonna call the police, or just not gonna mind your own motherfucking business. But I guess that could just be me. Apparently people in Paris are just built differently. Apparently that shit happens a lot. That's like a Thursday night or Tuesday night. John is killing these people left and right and center. There's this one side nigga boss that is the Grand Marquis. I think his name is Killa, K-I-L-L-A, Killa. I don't know. Anyway, he's just been there, just the big muscle. The dude is just there just because he learned a little bit shit. He works for the Grand Marquis, so like it's harder to kill him. Basically, he has like a second health bar. At this point, you realize these characters are now like bosses, and so yeah, he has like a second health bar. So John is fighting him down on the fucking stairs that are like the longest stairs to a chapel. And this motherfucker kicks John down, not just the first set of the stairs. He goes down to like the little base of the bitch and kicks him down the second side of the stairs. John now has to go climb back up these fucking stairs and get to the chapel in like 2-3 minutes. There's no way he's gonna do this. And man was like, okay, I clearly gonna lose. Wilson's just gonna have to die. We should take this L. I'm gonna just have to go back and do my original plan and just kill these motherfuckers. Kane comes down and he's like, hey man, I need you to get up these stairs. It's like, I'm trying. This motherfucker kicked me down these stairs. I'm trying to come back up here, but he's not letting me. And so then they're like, okay, let's work together. And you get a fire ass scene with Kane and John Wick going up the stairs, shooting and stabbing these motherfuckers until they get up to the top, and then they, beat up the, Killua guy. Out of nowhere, Gideon and his dog comes up out of nowhere and like bites him in his dick, and Gideon's like, yeah, get him, and then they shoot him. They shoot the guy, and they walk up to the chapel, all best buddies, all best friends, slapping hands and shit. Kane stabs John Wick in his hand, so he bleeds out, so he's bleeding a little bit, because apparently, the IP man needs a handicap. I'm gonna say it. Kane needed a handicap for all his fights. All of them. Scorpion had a stabbing wound, or he was bleeding out. It was not 100%. John, he was bleeding out. He was tired because he had to fight his way all the way up to there, and then you stab him in his hand, so now he's bleeding out. He needed a handicap. He could not win none of his fights without a handicap, and I'm saying that right now. And so now they're at the pistols at dawn, right? They made it there, everyone's happy. Now they have to kill each other. First off, I'm gonna call bullshit. I can understand why John did not want to kill his friend, but I've seen this man for 4 movies straight kill motherfuckers from farther away, from close range, with a spoon, with a book. He made a gun, and with a fucking pencil. And y'all wanted to expect me to believe that this man could not kill, so like they had like to walk 30 paces, right, with these old musket ass guns. I've seen his man put together a actual antique musket at the fucking museum, but they give him a nice polished version of a musket, and he's only able to wound Kane. Like, he hits him in the side. Somehow Kane's able to also hit him in the side. This is the most non-seeing blind motherfucker I've ever seen in my entire life. And they go, 15 paces, and they get a little closer, and Kane's still able to graze John. John's able to still, not kill Kane, which is bullshit, but he wounded him too. And then they get a little closer to like right here. Ain't no way people gonna miss these shots. Even a blind nigga can make these shots, right? Okay, so they're like right here, and then they do the little pew pew, and Kane shoots John, doesn't kill him. Kane pretends like he's been shot, or like he's stunned or some shit. And the Grand Marquis comes over. He's like, I want to finish him. Give me this. And he takes the gun and he loads it up. And he's like, Wilson's laughing over in the corner. He's like, you dumb bitch. He didn't even shoot yet. And then he's like, oh fuck, I done fucked up. And then John Wick pulls out his gun and he shoots the motherfucker. He's dead. End of it. Now John runs the table. It's like, at this point, I've woken up the first time of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Last time I checked, we were in Japan. How did we get to Paris? And why is we clapping? Like, I'm confused. Second time around made a little bit more sense as to why we clapping. John has win the Agni Kai, and now he's able to be a free man. He looks over at Wilson, tells Wilson, hey, can you take me home? And he proceeds to unbuckle all his shit. He walks down the flights of stairs, and it blacks out. Screen blacks. The next time it opens back up, we're at a gravesite. It is John and his wife's gravesite. Apparently John had succumbed to his wounds and he died. And so King and Wilson are there, and they're like, hey, do you think he's up there, or do you think he's down there? And they're like, he killed a lot of motherfuckers. He did a lot of bad shit, but he was his own man, and we don't know where John is at. That was the end of the movie. Then they hit you with the cutscene, the end credits, where Kane is now going to go see his daughter for the first time in God knows how long. She's like an adult now. She's a violinist, and so he's going to go see her. And as he's on his way to go see her, you see this person in a hoodie. And at first I'm thinking maybe it is John. Maybe he didn't actually die. I'm thinking maybe he wanted to have people think he died so that way he can like actually live a life. And it was not John. It was Scorpion's daughter. And she proceeds to have a box cutter and is getting ready to cut him. We don't see what happens because that's where it cuts. But that's the end of the movie. Personally, I still like the John Wick movies. I'm glad that they ended it with 4, because a 5th one I would probably went to go see it, but I probably wouldn't have liked it. I'll be honest with you. The 4th one on the second watch through, I was able to see a lot of things that they were running out of ideas quickly. But I liked how they ended it. It was a really good send off to his character. The man wanted to go home, and at the end of the day, he was able to go home. He was able to go see his wife and his dog, and that was the perfect ending for him. You could kind of tell that John was preparing to die. He just wanted release, and that was the kind of the main theme of the movie. What then? Everyone was telling him like, hey, what are you gonna do? What's your next plan? What are you gonna do then after you've killed this person? What now? What will John Wick do? And I feel like he kind of knew that he wanted to go out on his own terms. He wanted to die. He didn't see he didn't want to keep living this life of, you know, let's say this next motherfucker comes by and they fuck with him again. So now he has to go back into this world for the third time. And he was like, you know what, I probably just don't want to do this again. And then I can respect that, going out on your own terms. He didn't let nobody claim the bounty on his head. And, you know, he was, at the end of the day, he was a free man. The action scenes were top tier as always. I really never had a complaint with the John Wick action scenes. Even though he went on his back like a turtle a lot, I knew that once he was on his back, motherfuckers were dying left and right. It was a chain reaction. Like as soon as he didn't have to move, but as soon as someone came over in his vicinity, he attacked them, and then the next motherfucker would just get chain reacted into that. So like I was okay with that. The plot lines of the movie, I did have a little bit of an issue with. Like I said, I didn't like the fact that the third movie basically had no weight. You could have watched, with the exception of how the second movie ends leading up to the third movie really was not important. You could have added maybe that ending to the third movie could have been added to the second one. It could have just been like an extended cut, if you will. It just lead us to the third movie being the fourth movie. But I'm not complaining. There was some nice ass death scenes and nice ass killing in the third movie, so it was a pretty good movie. Would I watch John Wick 4 again? I've already watched it twice. I probably would watch it a third or fourth time. I have all of them except for the third one, which we'll talk about that later. I'll have to get the third one again, but I enjoy the John Wick movies. There's just something about a action movie where it doesn't make any sense that just works for me. Like I could just enjoy it and just be like, ooh, ah, as motherfuckers just go flying left and right and getting blown up. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. I'll definitely watch it again. But you guys let me know what you guys think about John Wick 4, if you guys have seen it or if you guys have not seen it. But with all that being said, I've been your host, KingLionOFLocs. We will be continuing on with some more reviews later. But till then, peace.